I'm going to be changing out the treadmill belts on 3 treadmills, treadmill 2, 3, and 4. First step, just clear my workspace, move the rollers out of the way, and then I'll back these treadmills away from the wall so I have space to work. The next step, I will remove the top covers. There's 4 3/16 Allen keys bolts holding down the top covers, and I just remove those. Once I have the top covers removed, I put the bolts or the hardware inside the cup holders of the treadmills, and I move the top covers out of the way. The next step is to remove the rear covers. Rear covers, there's 2 Phillips head screws on the tops, and there's 4 532 Allen keys bolts that go on the bottom. We remove all of those to remove the back cover. Whenever you remove these back covers, they're always filled with dust from the treadmill, so just be prepared to clean that dust when you take it off. After I vacuumed up the dust from removing the back covers, the next step is I will remove the belts from the treadmills. I have the belts removed. I will clean the decks and the front and rear rollers to make sure there's no wax, dirt, debris, or anything that would hinder the treadmill from functioning properly. While the belt's off, I can also inspect the deck to see if there's any damage to the deck or any reason that we would need to replace the deck now that we have it exposed. This one here, it's got chips out on the deck, so this one should be replaced. There's also grooves into the trim to the deck showing that it's been worn. I will remove the rear rollers. The rear rollers are held on with a 732 Allen key bolt on both sides. We'll take off the mounts from one side of the deck. There is a 732 Allen key and a 9/16 bolt, and we'll take those off. After you remove the rear deck mount bolt, we will release all the tension off of the drive roller. We have the bolt right here. All you have to do is just back that out with the 732 and the 9/16. And this is what it looks like after all the tension's been released. The belt should be moving freely, and then you can walk it off of the roller. Treadmills, your resistor will be in the way. All you have to do is remove it with one 532 Allen key. The other one you don't really need to remove. You could just turn it out of the way. We will move the motor controller out of the way with the 2 Phillips screws there and there, and we're just removing those so we can turn this so we can access this 532, so that way we can release the front roller. Once the mount is released, we will remove the front roller, clean off any wax that's left on it. The roller sits inside of this collar right here, so you just slide it to the right and lift out. This wax buildup is easily removed with a credit card or any kind of card that you have laying around. Just be prepared for cleanup after you've scraped it off. The roller is removed. We will remove the front mount to the deck, and it's a 3/16 bolt. To install the new treadmill belt, the new treadmill belts will have an arrow on them indicating the way that the treadmill belt should be moving. So make sure that that is moving in the right direction. What's best for me for installing the new walking belt is feeding my arm through the walking belt and lifting up on the deck, feeding the belt over my arm and onto the deck, and then following the process again on the backside. Sometimes the new belts will not have arrows on them. If they don't have an arrow on them, just ensure that the seams move the same direction as the others. After the new belts are in place, it's time to lubricate the new treadmill belt. All we do is open up these packages and empty these 2 and spread them around on the deck underneath the belt. Now that the belt is on and lubricated, we can now secure the deck to the frame. We'll start with the front with the 3/16 Allen key. Once the front's mounted, we can move to the back with the 9/16 and the 732 Allen key. If the deck mounts are in place, we can put the rear roller back in spot. The rear roller's in its place, then we can do the same to the front roller. To put the drive roller back into place, I slide it in. I'll put the drive belt around the drive pulley and then guide this collar into the sleeve. Once that's in place, then I can get the other side in. By using the drive belt, I guided the roller into place. and then just using your foot or body weight, you can push the roller into place. Using a thin screwdriver, you can get the holes aligned for the bolt. Next step is to get the drive belt onto the motor. To get the drive belt on the motor, it's already on the pulley. What I do is I get a little bit of the teeth of the belt onto the teeth of the motor. While holding friction with my left hand, with my right hand I turn the flywheel of the motor, and then it walks the belt into place. And I'll just give it a couple turns, and then if I need be, I can center it up. Once the belt is in place, we just need to fix the tension on the drive belt. Fix the tension with the 732 Allen key and a 9/16 wrench. Once the tension is on the belt, you can test it. You should be able to do a quarter turn with the belt. After doing the drive belt and we have our 732 Allen key out, we will make sure that the drive belt or the walking belt is centered, and then we can reinstall the hardware into the rear roller. If the holes in the rear roller are not centered, you can easily use a screwdriver to line them up. When I'm tightening the walking belt with this hardware here, I keep one finger on the back side of the roller threads, so that way I can feel with my finger when the threads meets the ends of the roller, and that way I can feel that both bolts are the exact same distance on both sides, and it keeps the belt centered. If you feel that the tension is correct on the walking belt, we will start the treadmill and run it, and we'll watch to make sure that the belt stays centered. When we're adjusting the tension and alignment on the walking belt, you use your 732 Allen key. And remember, tightening pushes away and loosening pulls it towards. So if you tighten this side of the roller, it'll push the belt away from that side of the roller. If you loosen this side of the roller, it'll pull the belt towards that side. After we're confident that the alignment stays centered on the walking belt, it's time to test the tension on the walking belt. How to test the tension is you get on the treadmill while it's running, and then you stomp, trying to get the walking belt or drive belt to stop. If you feel the walking belt skip when you stomp, then you should tighten the walking belt. If you hear a screech come from the drive belt when you stomp, then you should tighten the drive belt. Here's going to be an example of a stomp test of a belt that probably should be tightened. Is to put the resistor back in place with the 532 Allen key and the motor controller back in place with the 2 Phillips head screws. Put the rear covers back on with the 4 532 Allen key bolts and the 2 Phillips head screws. Put the top covers back on with the 4 3/16 screws. Next step, we put the treadmills back in place. We run and test them to ensure their proper function. We tested the treadmills and we're sure that they're ready to return to service. What we'll do is we'll enter maintenance mode and reset the belt distance on these treadmills. Maintenance mode. Now we'll scroll through maintenance mode. Belt reset. But first we're going to look at the belt distance. So we know that this belt has gone that distance before we changed it. Reset belt. Reset belt done. Stop. And that's it. Finished, and these walking belts are in good shape. Anytime you're doing a repair, you should always keep your eyes open for other repairs that are needed. For example, during this repair we learned that the deck needs to be replaced on treadmill 4, as well as the fan cover on treadmill 4. Once you're done and you've found everything on the treadmills you're working on, just take a look and see if you can find anything simple on the other treadmills while you're here. See if there's any bad decks, any bad deck belts, any walking belts, any cracked frames, any problems that you can easily identify to generate more work for yourself. After you've finished inspecting the rest of the treadmills, looking for additional repairs that are needed, send off your email with your notes, and then clean up your area and any mess that you may have made while you were on scene. Sweep and mop your area, and always remember to leave the machines and your work area cleaner and nicer than it was the way you found it. A copy of your notes at the front desk so that the club knows what you did. For the lights and set the alarm.